Beautiful Saturday of I Got My Miracle. We're here at Rythmia with Mr. Ben. Thank you, Ben, for saying yes to this.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
It's so good that I asked this morning who had an incredible miracle that would love to do this, and someone pointed directly at Ben with no questions. He had a great week, and I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd love to share what happened for me." So, Ben, you said you're from?
I'm from Massachusetts, and I'm going into my junior year of college at Kenyon College in Ohio,
Cool.
where I play soccer, and I'm 21 years old.
Amazing. Your friends know that you're here?
Some of my friends do know that I'm here. I don't think they know quite exactly what I'm doing here, and the gravity of it all. I've told some of them about the medicine and the process. However, I don't think they truly understand the scope of it all, and neither did I before I got here.
So if someone were to ask you, what did you do at Rythmia? Like, what happened? What would be your simple version of explaining what happened for you this week?
Wow. That's a hard question. I would say dumb down a lot to really simplify it. I would say I worked a lot on healing myself from past traumas and past experiences that I had otherwise been holding on to that were kind of preventing me from being my true best self. So I feel much lighter having gotten rid of a lot of those traumas and past experiences and situations, I would say.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful, simple way of explaining it. And then I asked Ben, how do you feel? And he said, I feel light as a feather.
Yeah, I do. I feel light as a feather, and it's funny, the miracles that get working down here are quite enchanting almost. You find that there's mysterious energy that works in inexplicable ways, and that applies to me because I feel that it's a feather now, and I've been wearing this ring for about 2 years, and it resembles a feather, and I finally understand the significance behind it.
Interesting, yeah. So Ben's siblings came here a couple of years ago, but you couldn't come because can you walk us through what happened and now how you understand that now that you came this time on your own has been divinely guided. We were talking a little bit about this before we started this Facebook Live. Would you like to share about that? What happened?
Yeah.
How you came here to Rythmia at this point in time?
Absolutely. So 2 years ago, just over 2 years, in March of 2020, my brother and my sister came here, who are both older, and they participated in the ceremonies, and they had a wonderful time. I was considered to go on the trip, but I wasn't able to because I had other obligations. I was actually going to be in Colorado, with a couple of my friends skiing, um, which I absolutely love. And it just wasn't going to work out then. And I've had the opportunity to come since then, but personally, I wasn't feeling like I was ready for it because of what I would have to return back to, particularly school. And I didn't feel that I would be comfortable reintegrating into life after such a profound experience, especially having to go back to school.
Yes.
Because let's face it, not many children or kids my age are doing this work.
It's so impressive. It's so impressive that, yeah, you carry on, but I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I try not to exude any spiritual arrogance.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because that's dangerous.
But it's beautiful too. I mean, as an observer, yeah, I bow to your spirit. Not to your ego, to your spirit for saying yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But yeah, I had just been trusting the time, trusting my feelings surrounding it. And luckily enough, uh, two years later, just after 2 years, I felt ready for it. The timing worked out. I was supposed to come here in late May.
Mm-hmm.
However, I couldn't because I got a surgery. I got my appendix removed.
Oh.
And medical told me I couldn't come for 3 months, which was frustrating at the time because I really wanted to come. I now understand the divinity behind the timing. And I don't think I would have been able to get my miracle had I come 3 months ago without the people here helping me. And yeah, I'd love to elaborate more on the divinity.
Yes, tell us more about the divine timing, because there were people this week. I mean, the magic that happens here, Rythmia, there's no words that will do justice because of the people that come every week. The configuration of the souls, it's beyond words. It's magical. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a magical feeling. It's really hard to disregard or to avoid the magic and the spiritual aspect of it. I think in such a physical, separated world that we live in, it's so easy for people like me to write off things like religion and spirituality because they're not tangibly there in front of us. And that was a lot of work that I had to do when I was here, is surrender and accept the energy that really is here. And another funny little coincidence is a couple days prior to coming here, I actually got a tattoo and on my forearm, and it says surrender, which is really funny, because a lot of the advice that the shamans and the medicine team gives to us, the people experiencing it, is to surrender to the medicine. And once you surrender to the medicine, that's when she can show you what you need to work on, when you need to work on it. It was quite ironic because after the last ceremony, my tattoo had been completely healed.
Wow.
And it was a part of my body now.
Wow.
Which was quite the coincidence.
Yeah. And how was that process for you to surrender to the medicine? If you could put words into that, how?
Yeah, it was a difficult process, I would say. Prior to coming here, I was an avid, regular weed smoker. Every day, multiple times a day. And I'd also experienced with psychedelics like LSD and mushrooms. And with that, I would say I came into Rythmia thinking this will be a cakewalk. It might be really easy because, if I can go through ego death on my own at school, then ayahuasca is going to be nothing.
If ayahuasca could speak, she would say, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah, she put me in my place.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
She showed me I was wrong eventually, but it was difficult. For the 4 ceremonies that we had, the first night I was fighting a lot. And I actually got out of my bed and I walked over to one of the shamans in Hamta, and I explained to her I was having trouble surrendering to the medicine. And I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know how to surrender to it. I understand now it's just listening to your body rather than thinking, oh, am I seeing the visuals? Am I seeing a consult or consulta? Is my body feeling more sensations or whatnot? So my mind is racing and racing and racing. And it wasn't until about the second night I felt some visitation from Mother Ayahuasca, I would say. And it was much more helpful. It was much better. I was breathing, trying to feel it. I was pushing myself more. I drank 1 more cup than I had the night before. And so, yeah, it was a process, and it wasn't just snap, everything's better. Um, it's incredibly challenging, but
I love that you said that word process is a process. Because in
absolutely.
this world, we want things to happen so quickly, but if we trust the process and walk through the process, eventually we get it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, eventually I trust the process like you did. I trusted it, and it was so helpful in the end, so revealing, and
Yeah.
that's why I feel much, much lighter.
So good. And so we talk. Wait,
Oy.
We're out of internet, I think. So, that was a good one.
and maybe that was enough.
Oh, no. No internet. That's sad.
If we put my phone just to finish
Well,
it.
it hasn't finished streaming, so if you want to continue. But I don't think we will have internet.
Should we do a speed test? Because I can give you internet from my phone. If you're looking, if you're watching, give us a minute. I need to figure this out. I love to finish this thing. No internet? No internet? Did you-
Parece que sí, pero si no hay luz, no. Pero si quiere me guindo el suyo.
Okay. All right.
I can check it out on my phone or so on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so there are 22 people.
Sorry, 22 people.
Okay, just 1 second.
No, we're live.
Are we?
Eso soy yo, eso es the... Just continue.
You don't want internet?
No, there's a message. Just continue.
Okay, great. Awesome. We're still here.
Wonderful.
All right.
Wonderful,
Good.
wonderful.
So I was going to ask you about, we talk about I got my miracle. So what would you say, I know it's 4 nights that we drink medicine here. If you can walk us through the miracles that you were getting, I don't know if it's each night. I don't know if that happens linear, in a linear way, because I know it's more like waves, up and down and up and down. So what would you say were your miracles?
I would say I had 3 main miracles, and they all had to do around, revolve around me and my parents, which I, conversing with other members of my group here, it seems that is a common trend.
It was a theme this week.
Yeah, more so just familial trauma and situations that people have to go through. But I would say my miracles didn't really come until the 3rd and 4th night. More specifically, the 4th morning. And they were
Friday morning.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Friday morning. The morning of the last ceremony. And it was very intense and raw, but that is what allowed me to feel so light now. And without that, I don't think I would have returned from Rythmia, thinking that I got any work done.
Yeah.
Would you like me to go into my miracles more specifically?
If you want, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So a little background about me. My parents got divorced when I was 5 years old, and I'm one of 7 kids. And so I think my major realization from this week was kind of being in denial about the stage of my family. People always ask me when they don't know me if I come from a broken family. And I always replied no. But this week I found that might just be the case. and it's not so bad after all. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm broken. Um, and so prior to rythmia, I used to believe that if I accepted that my family was broken, it meant that I was broken as well, which is a deep thought to think about. But when you're at rythmia, it's impossible to disregard these situations. And luckily for me, I had the most candid and open and receiving people here to help me get through those realizations.
That's amazing.
And with it, I actually realized that family can be anywhere with anyone,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I, on the third night, I saw a vision of a newborn baby, very, very cute baby, laying on a table, kicking about, and I was looking down at it, and I thought, oh, this must be me. Um, oh, this is fantastic. This is me when I lost my soul, and now I get to merge back with it now that I found it. And it took me a little bit, because I went to go take my hand and play around with myself. Um, and I was thinking earlier in the day, about how much I used to love climbing trees. So I tried to take him up a tree, but he wouldn't go. Um, and he ended up back on the table, and I didn't really realize it, but it was actually, the baby represented my father.
Wow.
And it was something a little weird to think about now. I still think I'm processing it a little bit.
Yes. Wow, but that's just, it's so profound.
Exactly. Very profound. And it proceeded to me dressing him. And instead of playing, we just went for a nice walk. And I learned a lot about loving my father, receiving love from my father, and it was incredible. And then the next night, I had another vision, and this one was a memory that it had taken me back to. That Mother Ayahuasca took me back to, and it was when my brother was in 7th or 8th grade, and I'm 3 years younger than my brother. So he was playing basketball just for our team in the town, and it was very early in the morning, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and we were in the high school because that's where they played the games, and we were sitting on the bleachers as a family. And my mom had brought a to-go coffee mug, and in the coffee mug was not coffee, it was wine. And unfortunately for her, she spilt it all over the bleachers. And at 10 in the morning, with 6 kids sitting with you in the bleachers, it's not the best look. So I really felt for my mom in that moment when I relived that memory. And I remember feeling, in real life during the memory, I remember feeling embarrassed, ashamed, even betrayed in a sense by my mom that she would do something like that. And I think I mainly just had to forgive her.
Yeah, of course.
Just forgive her for that. And I actually called her the next morning, and really briefly, because she didn't have that much time to talk. But I asked her if she had felt anything waking up today, that morning, about just energy wise, and she felt lighter or freer. And she replied yes.
Wow.
And very simply I said, "You're welcome."
That's it. Wow, Ben, that's amazing. That's exactly the word. The word that you use is the perfect word. It's like deep healing, going back to those memories and those imprints. Because when we're children, we take on all these things, we make sense of it, and then we hold the resentment and the shame and the emotions, and you processing that. Oh, it's just, I can just see your path just opening up for you to just keep expanding. That's why I'm like in awe that you're doing this work at this age. It's deep, it's profound. You seeing your father as a little child, because that's what it is. We all have an inner child. Even if we see our parents in the hierarchy, they also have their inner child there that needs to be loved and seen and all that. So I mean, you go in there, it just blows my mind. And the beautiful thing about Ben is that you came to class. I was teaching the answers to you this week, and you were there in every class, paying it, like you showed up to everything. That's also so cool.
Yeah, I tried to show up to everything. I couldn't stay through the second class because, or one of the classes on the after the second ceremony, because I had stayed up all night. I didn't get any sleep. I didn't go back to my room actually because of how much I had to process what was going on. So
but the fact
my apologies.
No worries, I understand. I always say, people, if you have to like that. But the fact that you showed up, and the fact that you're, because I could see your face, you're paying attention, and I'm sure, I don't know what other classes you did. What did you think about the yoga and the breath work and everything else?
Yeah, the yoga was amazing. I love yoga now, and I used to hate yoga prior to coming here. I definitely could benefit from it because I play soccer, and it just helps my body with recovery and maintaining good health. The yoga is amazing. I would say the yoga instructor is even more amazing.
Was that Victor?
Victor. So empowering, so infectious.
Yeah.
Just like all the staff here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was incredible to be led by him. I would say the breath work was also super, super helpful. Not just for me, but more so for others, because last night we had our last session of breath work, and the remaining members who didn't otherwise get their miracle kind of realized it last night. And seeing people slowly get their miracle more and more and more in the week, it's impossible to not see and feel the energy of those people who feel envious. So once they release this envy and once they get their miracle, it's wonderful to see. It's amazing for them and for ourselves, but also for the group as a whole. It really just fills the room with energy, and it inspires more and more people. I would say it also helps other people realize more and more about their own miracles, which is why I was so appreciative and just grateful for the support that I received by the members of group 279.
279.
That's
wow,
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today. What would you say to someone, let's say someone like you, that is curious about this but might feel a little intimidated? I don't know. Like, what would you say to invite?
Yeah, that's interesting. So prior to coming here, my only knowledge of this place was from my brother and my sister. And I had booked the trip, and I thought it was going to be as simple as booking it. I can set it aside, and I'll go to the airport come June 24th or July 24th, and I'll fly down here, and that will be that. But I kept on receiving more and more emails about how to prepare, what the place looked like, the kinds of people I saw, the testimonies from other people who had gone through rythmia, and I found it to be quite annoying almost. Yeah, I hated watching the videos. I hated considering other people's miracles. It was a quick visual on you guys' website of a group hugging, and immediately I was turned off by it. and I didn't know why. I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that anyone who is hesitant or wants to look the other way when it comes to images and videos like that regarding rythmia, it's because we all know that we have work to do. And we know that the work is going to be addressed once we get here. Deep down, we know. We might not know it intellectually in the moment, but we know deep down. And so that came to the forefront of my mind during one of my nights, especially when I realized I don't, enjoy looking at certain things. So that's when I took my time to sit with it and think, why didn't I like those videos? Why didn't I like the TripAdvisor, reviews and the testimonies? Is because I didn't want to believe it was going to work.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't want to believe in the energy that's here, that's so undeniable, that's here.
Yeah.
And so unavoidable. And so during one of my visions, the last night, I was taken back to a funny memory I had. I was in first grade, and I went to something called a butterfly sanctuary, which is a big room, almost like a terrarium that's just massive. And there's so many beautiful butterflies and moths in there. And a butterfly landed on my finger, and I thought, oh, I must be chosen. This is an amazing feeling. And then the butterfly proceeded to pee on me.
Oh.
Which I never knew butterflies peed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or it must have been some other liquid, if not
right,
pee.
Right.
But it ran down my finger, and as it did, I thought, wow, I have a sense of worthlessness.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And right there and then, I was totally taken out of all spiritual divinity in the world.
Yeah.
And the spiritual essence of the world.
Mm.
And since then, I've been an avid hater of religion and spirituality.
Right.
I even wrote my college essay on why religion should be banned from the world, because I thought it was such a horrible thing.
Wow.
And having come here, I now realize the difference between religion and spirituality. And spirituality is in everyone's life, regardless of whether or not we want to address it. But coming down to rythmia makes you address it in any way, whether it be you see a famous figure like Jesus or Buddha, or if, for instance, I'm a twin, and I call my twin, we call her Butterfly, and one of the nights I sprouted butterfly wings, and I went out to a hammock, and I was laying there in the morning, and as I did, I saw a beautiful butterfly circling around me.
Wow.
And I felt the presence of my sister, my twin sister, that is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was.
She's not the one who came here.
Okay, because she's all. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Will she come? You're a twin.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my whole family would really benefit from coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're ready.
When they're ready.
Yes.
But I think the children have to come first to deal with some of the things that my mom and my father and my stepfather would otherwise.
Yeah.
It would be too hard for them.
Yeah.
And so
you're kind of like opening the space,
paving the way, if you will.
The way.
And so, yeah, that's it was a big thought for me, and I know I feel a lot of energy here that I otherwise would write off as coincidence. And now I truly understand timing behind me coming here, and the others coming here as well. I know I wouldn't have been able to receive my miracle had it not been for these two people I confided in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting because their ages represent my brother and my sister's ages as well, who are the ones who had also gone through this.
Yeah.
And I found myself naturally gravitating towards them whenever I needed a sense of
That's
family.
amazing. Synchronicity. Wow, thank you so much, Ben. It's just been amazing. So easy to talk to you. So much wisdom. So much wisdom coming through you. So thank you. Thank you for being open. Thank you for even though at the beginning there was that resistance, you still showed up and here you are, understanding a little deeper what it all is.
Yeah.
And it just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Keep doing that amazing work that you're doing. Thank you for sharing with us. I know you have inspired a lot of people. And thank you everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And we will see you next week in another I Got Your Miracle. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.